Hi, it's Jordan. In your 20s, every purchase feels small. A meal here, a gadget there, a night out you won't remember in a year. But some decisions don't just cost money. They quietly shape your entire future. In your 20s, life feels wide open. Most people aren't thinking long-term. They're not worried about mortgages, families, or financial security. The focus is simple. Enjoy the moment. And there's nothing wrong with that. But beneath the surface, something more important is happening. Every pound you spend, every habit you build, every decision you make is compounding. Not just financially, but mentally. The question isn't whether your 20s matter. It's whether you're using them intentionally. The biggest misconception is that you have to choose between enjoying life and building wealth. That's not true. The two can coexist. You can have experiences, travel, and still make smart decisions that set you up long-term. The difference comes down to awareness. Most people spend without thinking. A smaller group spends with purpose. And over time, that gap becomes massive. One of the most powerful decisions you can make is investing in a side hustle. It's not a trendy concept. It's leverage. A side hustle is one of the few ways where your effort directly increases your income. There's no ceiling, no fixed salary, no waiting for permission. But it comes with risk. There's no guarantee it will work. That's why your 20s are the best time to do it. You have time to fail, adjust, and try again. For many, the turning point comes from pressure. Being stuck in a low-paying job. Feeling like you're trading time for money with no real progress. That frustration can either trap you or push you to act. Starting small is enough. Buying and reselling products. Offering a service. Learning a digital skill. The model doesn't matter as much as the mindset. You're building the habit of creating income, not just earning it. But here's where most people go wrong. When extra money starts coming in, they increase their lifestyle instead of their assets. They upgrade their car, their clothes, their spending. And without realizing it, they stay in the same position, just at a higher level of consumption. The smarter move is simple, but not easy. Live on less than you earn, and reinvest the difference. That's where long-term investing comes in. It's not exciting, it doesn't give instant results. But it works. Consistently putting money into broad market investments like index funds inside a UK ISA allows your money to grow in the background. Quietly, predictably, over decades. It's not about getting rich overnight. It's about building a financial base that doesn't rely on constant effort. Think of it as a second engine running in your life. Your side hustle or business creates active income. Your investments build passive growth. One gives you speed, the other gives you stability. And together, they create momentum that's hard to stop. At the same time, don't underestimate the value of expanding your environment. Travel isn't just about taking a break. It exposes you to new ideas, new people, new ways of thinking. It builds confidence. It forces you to adapt. And often, the connections you make in unfamiliar places turn into opportunities you could never have planned. There's also a practical side to this. Learning how to use tools like credit responsibly can work in your favor. Not for spending more, but for building a financial profile. A strong credit history opens doors later in life. Better loan terms, better opportunities, more flexibility. Used correctly, it's an advantage. Used poorly, it becomes a trap. Another decision that compounds faster than almost anything else is investing in your own education. Not necessarily formal education, but practical, useful knowledge. Skills that increase your value. Because income is tied directly to the value you can provide. The more problems you can solve, the more you can earn. Today, information is everywhere. Books, videos, courses. But the real advantage isn't access, it's application. Learning without action changes nothing. The people who move forward are the ones who take what they learn and use it immediately. Even if it's imperfect, even if it fails at first. Real estate is another powerful tool, but it requires strategy. Owning property isn't just about having a place to live. It's about control, leverage, and cash flow. When done right, it allows other people to effectively pay down your asset over time. Whether through renting rooms, shared living, or alternative setups, the principle remains the same. Use assets to generate income, not just expenses. But none of this works if your money is tied up in liabilities. One of the most common mistakes in your 20s is spending heavily on things that lose value. Expensive cars, unnecessary upgrades, lifestyle inflation. These don't just cost money, they cost opportunity. Every pound locked into something depreciating is a pound that can't be invested elsewhere. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy your money. It means being intentional. Choosing function over status. Choosing progress over appearance. Because the truth is, most people aren't paying as much attention as you think. And the ones who matter aren't impressed by things. There's also a place for newer assets like Bitcoin. It's grown rapidly and created significant returns for some. But it's not a shortcut. It's volatile, unpredictable, and should be treated carefully. A small, controlled allocation can make sense. But relying on it completely is a risk many underestimate. And then there's something most people ignore until it's too late: your health. Energy, focus, and consistency are your real assets. Without them, everything else slows down. Burnout, stress, and poor habits don't show immediate consequences, but over time, they compound just like money does. The reality is simple. Your 20s are a multiplier. They amplify whatever direction you choose. If you build strong habits, they accelerate your progress. If you ignore them, they quietly work against you. There's no neutral path. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get everything right. But you do need to be aware. Because the people who build real wealth aren't the ones chasing quick wins. They're the ones making consistent, deliberate decisions over time. Because in the end, wealth isn't built in one moment. It's built in the choices no one notices, repeated every day for years.